So, and I will share this slide presentation with you. This is the link to Whiteboard. So when you click on it, it's going to take you to the actual website. Now I've done two things. I'm going to go over what I have in the Google Slides really quick, and then we'll play. So the first thing you're going to want to do is when you get to the site, you can either register. Now, the thing is, when you register, there's only a certain amount of options you have for the free site, like saving saving some of the documents and using some of the features are only for the paid subscription, but there's plenty that you can use in the free site that make it worth it. I did register, and then it does allow me to have a temporary room that will last for 2 hours. If you have the paid membership, it lets you save all of your whiteboards. So that's the only difference. Or you can just start a new class. So you don't have to register. You can just simply go to new class and you would have to like recreate it each day. I do have an account, so I just was showing if you wanted to log in, you could do that. So you can register here, or you can just click new class. All right, then it's going to take you to the teacher dashboard. When you're in the dashboard, there's a couple of different options. It'll, like, if you wanted to go, hold on, I'll show you. If you wanted to go into the library, the rooms, again, it's going to be determined on whether or not it's free or not. And we'll go through that. I just wanted you to have the step-by-step slides in case you needed a reminder later when we were done. So you would go to create new room here, and then you're going to get this screen. So this is what I do with the kids. Like you have the option to copy the URL. Usually what I do is I copy it and I just paste it in the chat of Zoom or Google Meets, whatever you're using, because it's not something that they can re-access later. If it was something that was permanent, I would probably share it on Google Classroom. But since it's not, I just usually just plop it in the chat. Now here you can create a temporary room that lasts for 2 hours. And this is what it's going to look like. So these are the options you have, and I got this by clicking on the settings here. These are some of the features that you have available, but again, not all of them are going to be accessible with the free portion, but plenty are. So you can enable a waiting room if you want kids to wait, and then you can accept them. I usually don't because that's just an extra step. And so here we're going to explore. So for example, when you are in the whiteboard option, and let me move this out of the way, there's a button that says push, where you can push to the students all of the pages, or one page, or you can set a background. So for example, if I was doing a number talk for the kids and I wanted each of them to respond, I could share this slide with them and they could just do their slides below. So let me show you what that looks like. Let's get out of here so we can actually go play. All right, so if I'm here and I go to the teacher dashboard, so if I come over here, so it says no active subscription license. I refuse to pay for it. It's quite pricey a month. So, but I can, so if you go to library, you have to have a subscription. So that's not an option. But you can go to the rooms, and this is plenty, I'm telling you. So this is the temporary room. I'm going to share the code with you. Way. All right, so I just put it in the chat. You should be able to access the whiteboard now. So when I get back to the screen, if I go toggle my whiteboard, I did create a couple of slides for you just to see. So there's one that has a grid background that I got from here, the large grid. This could be, I use the small grid for this. So if I just click on it, it changes the background. If I wanted to add, like, you're a music teacher and you want musical notes, you can add that there. The library, again, is off limits because it's part of the paid subscription. There are math features in here. Like if you wanted to enter some kind of a formula, you could do that. But basically what I use it for, to be honest, is this is where the kids solve their math problems for me. That's what I use it most often for. So now I can go down here and I can see all the students that are logged in. And let's do, okay, here we go. Connect shapes. Tell me one thing you know about this. Okay, so I could ask you a question. Oh yeah, that really formatted well. Okay. And then down below, you could answer it like on your whiteboard, and I could give feedback. So I can come down here and click on her whiteboard, and I could give her feedback or quick reactions, like, you know, great job, thumbs up, whatever it might be. So that way you're not even having to call them out in the middle of class. Like if you just see that they've made, you know, one small error, you might say, try this again. So you can leave little notes for them. And then at the end, if I wanted to, let me move, I have to keep moving the Zoom window out of the way. So if I were to go to push, I'm going to push this out. So now, let's see here. All of you should have received, oh, it's just the blank line. Hold on, let's try that again. So if I want everybody to have this background, I could push it out. Okay. So now you all have the grid paper. Okay. Or if I wanted to push this one out, it's basically just copy and pasting it to all the student whiteboards. Another thing you can do is if you wanted to have a background, like something behind, like this one, you don't want them to be able to edit it. I can go here to the flatten image, and now it's the background. So now I can't click on it. I can't do anything. But that would be something if you were giving directions, or if you wanted to have a math problem there, like a problem of the day, you could have that. You could flatten it so it's the background and then push it out to the kids, and then they're working on it independently on their whiteboard and you're giving them feedback.
Kristin, I'm sorry, how did you get the grid on there again? Sorry,
No, you're fine. You're fine. So if you go up here, there's two options. There's the large, the small grid paper, and then the large.
Okay.
Yeah. You can also add images if you have them stored in your computer. Excuse me. Another thing that I do all the time, I tend to do this on the iPad more frequently because you can write on it. But if I make a mistake and I'm like, I don't like that, if I go to the eraser, I can either just use the tool where I'm erasing it myself, or I can clear just the front of it, but I wouldn't get rid of the background, like the question that was there. Or I want to get rid of the background, but keep the stuff that's in front, or I want to get rid of everything. So there's different options on what you need to clear. So I'm going to use the eraser tool. I don't like the way I wrote this. It's a little bit more tedious, especially doing it with the mouse. Oops. And if I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to erase that, if I go back, it doesn't undo, it'll bring it back.
Can you make the eraser larger, or is it just one size?
The eraser is just one size, unfortunately. Okay. And then when you go here, you're going to see like you can change the width of the line. You can add dots or dashes. This is the palette of, because I like colors, so I'm always changing the colors of things. So that's an option. And then here, this is the select tool. So if you don't want to write on the screen, and this took some getting used to, I'm not going to lie. I would accidentally have the pencil on, and I'm wanting to move the shape around. I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to draw on the screen. So just make sure if you're trying to select stuff, that you click on the arrow, and then you can move it around. Okay. So what I wanted to do, what I really wanted to give you guys time to do, is to explore and play around. And I'll let you see if you have any questions. I'm going to pause the recording for just a moment.